Welcome back, guys, to another video. And this week's video, with E3 coming out, and I've heard so much great things about it, I'm really excited about all these games coming. I thought for this week's video I'd step back and talk about video game hype. I think it's something that all of us have been guilty of being excited about a game that didn't live up to expectations, or maybe a game that surprised us, or maybe a game we just knew all along that it was just gonna freaking rock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about, to kind of keep this video short, out of the 20 years plus experience I've had playing video games, I'm going to talk about 4 games. I'm going to talk about 2 that didn't live up to the hype, and 2 that was a pleasant surprise. Now, starting with the bad. I've talked about this video game in a previous video, and I was talking about rental memories, and I'm so glad to this day that I rented this game, that I didn't go out and buy it. But I'm a huge fan of Vampire Hunter D. It's one of my favorite animes of all time. It was an anime that got me into anime. I mean, it got me into the whole thing. I love it. So when I heard that Vampire Hunter D was getting its own video game on the Sony PlayStation, I was ecstatic. I was so excited. I would sit there and I would go to sleep at night and I would think about how awesome this game was going to be, because I love the movies so much. I love the art style and the concept of you know, being a half man, half vampire hunter. And I mean, man, it was just, if you guys haven't seen Vampire Hunter D, definitely watch it. But the game came out and I rented it one weekend and I had such high expectations, and I didn't realize how much of a game that had such a great concept would be so bad. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you guys are looking at it right now. Even the pre-rendered backgrounds were very primitive for such a late PlayStation title. The controls were clunky. The voice acting was atrocious. The music was very mediocre. Wow. I mean, There's games that I hate that I still enjoy playing just because, but this is a game I still wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I mean, this was like a slap in the face as a Vampire Hunter D fan and as a survival horror fan, because that's what they were trying to go at. They were trying to make like a Resident Evil hack and slash Vampire Hunter D game, and they failed miserably. So that's one of the games that definitely didn't live up to the hype. The other one I want to talk about, and this is another disappointing title. I'm a huge Castlevania fan. And what do I love? I love Castlevania, and what's one of my favorite genres? Fighting games. And I still have this game because I am a Castlevania fan. It's Castlevania Judgment. Now, I should have saw the red flags when I first heard about this game. Mainly the art style. The art style was very, very different from traditional Castlevania, which I was trying to have an open mind. I'm like, alright, well, Alucard looks like he plays in a Visual Kei band. I like Visual Kei bands. That's alright. But the controls were really, they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, you could use the GameCube controller, but it was still had no direction of exactly what you were supposed to do, and they tried to have some sort of storyline to it. And even the storyline, they tried to add, like, I guess, some sort of, like, adolescent sense of humor to it, and, man, it was really bad. I couldn't believe the stuff I was seeing. I was like, is this really a Castlevania game?
Are you a vampire hunter?
I am. If you're here, you must be one as well.
Uh-huh. They're huge.
Will you stop? These things only get in the way.
But yeah, I can't believe that was a Castlevania game. I mean, if it wasn't the fact that I wanted to have every single Castlevania game, it wouldn't be in my collection right now. And you guys know, if you're a collector of a certain series, you have to buy the crap too. That's just the way it goes. And it has charm. I can say that. It has charm to it. Really bad charm. Really bad joke charm. But let's get into some games that I actually really enjoyed and actually was very surprised with. And the first one's going to be very surprising to you guys, because you guys know I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I remember when this game first came out, it really divided Zelda fans because it was so different. And the reason why it really divided us is because if you guys remember the tech demo for the GameCube, when it was first shown eons ago at E3, it showed an epic battle with Link versus Ganondorf, and I remember seeing that and being like, man, the next Zelda is going to be amazing. It's going to be like Ocarina of Time times 20. It's going to be awesome. And then we were shown the Wind Waker, and it was showing the new, at the time, the new art style, the cel shading graphics, and at first I was very puzzled. I didn't know what to think of it. I wanted to play it, but at the same time I was like, why are they doing this? It seemed like to me at the time they were going backwards or something. But honestly, when I gave the game a chance, when it had just came out, I remember getting it, I bought it, and being completely blown away by the direction they took it in, and it's still one of my favorite Zeldas of all time. It looked like you were playing a Saturday morning cartoon. I really, really loved it, and it's definitely one of the games that really surprised me. I didn't have any hype for it. I had curiosity, but I wasn't excited about it when I first found out. And the next game I wanted to talk about, and this is going to surprise some of you guys as well, I'm not a big Walking Dead fan. I don't really watch the show. I think I love zombie movies, but I think the whole zombie craze was so played out that I think it kind of tainted my view of this television series and comic books, so I never got into it. Well, I know they came out with a Walking Dead game from Telltale Games that was a point-and-click adventure, which I thought was very interesting. And when I first heard about it, I was just kind of like, oh, great, another zombie game. Woohoo! You know? But it was when I actually was listening to the All Gen Gamers podcast, and they were talking about how in-depth the story was to this game, that it was more than just going around shooting zombies. It's such a profound character development, and that's what really made me want to start playing it. And I'm telling you, this is one of the games that I can put up there and say that it really made me glad to be a gamer. It had so much involvement. I remember you would make different decisions that would progress and essentially make your own storyline. I remember some of the episodes I would actually pause the game and go outside and take a smoke break and kind of think about what kind of decision I was going to make, especially in the last 2 chapters. It was insane. I was sitting there smoking and I'm like, why am I thinking about a video game this much, you know? But it really, really drew me in, you know? So that was definitely another game that I didn't really stand the hype too much, but I went and played it and it really excited me. So anyway guys, that is some of my games I wanted to talk about with video game hype, and here's where I want you guys to come in. Leave a comment below. Tell me a game that you are really excited about coming out that didn't live up to all the expectations that you wanted, or maybe a game that surprised you like The Walking Dead video game did with me, or even The Wind Waker. I'm still very surprised how great that game was, thinking about how bad I was thinking about it back then. But anyway guys, also with E3, Excess Gaming Podcast's newest episode will be up very shortly. If it's not already up already, I'll just go ahead and put a link right here. You guys can visit us on Podomatic.com or listen to us on iTunes. And here's some of our thoughts about E3. I think it was one of the best E3s we've had in quite some time. But I go all in depth with that with my good buddy and co-host James Gruesome. But anyway guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.